it, I'm gonna look at, I guess this might be a very indie game, right? Cop Bastard. Cop Bastard is a classic first-person shooter set in early 90s Japan, offering non-stop action inspired by action movies. It's a nice little premise. So for this one, quick look here. I'm gonna be just using mouse and keyboard to have a look at it. There's a demo here I'm gonna be trying. There's no release date or anything. Oops, let me do this. Just kind of quick. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Alright. There we go. Oop. Let's just quickly just peek at the settings. I do like that. I think it's very good if you have that as a kind of ground thing to just tweak your experience a little bit. So here we only have resolutions. You can see here 4K. 21:9 ultra wide here. This is like 16:10 aspect ratio, 16:9. This is 21:9, so it supports ultra widescreen, not super ultra widescreen, which would be something like 3840 times 1080. It's not a problem. I prefer 16:9 myself for FPS games. VSync on off doesn't seem to work for me. You have an FOV slider. We're gonna leave that at default. Volume is not maxed out entirely, but I think it would be fun if you start like maybe at 60-70% some things, you know, so you have a lot of room to lower the audio, but you can also bump it up. But this is a nice. I do miss one thing. It's not full screen toggleable here. So you will have to use Alt-Enter, but Alt-Enter to go in and out of full screen works well, but a toggle for full screen will be really nice. And obviously, you know, this needs to be fixed. It's not working. VSync is like forced off. So you can see in my top left here, it says 120 frames. I had to force VSync or like an FPS limiter in my case here, in the Intel Graphics Control Center. So because I was getting like 700 FPS, and you know, that's not a fun experience for the graphics card. It's 700 or 900 FPS, and you know, I could actually hear a little bit of a coil whine from the graphics card because it was like that crazy high frame rate. So a frame rate limiter, getting the VSync on off to working here, toggleable, and an option for full screen on and off would be the bare minimum that I would really love to have in the demo here. Then I would love, you know, have maybe anisotropic filtering, some anti-aliasing, upscaling options like here, you know, TSR, FSR, XES and stuff like that, frame gen, just to really, you know, be able to just oomph up the experience on really low-end hardware and stuff. It's always fun to have. But, you know, that's I can understand if it's not in a lightweight game to run until it comes into full release. So, you know, if we only would have had full screen toggle, FPS limiter and VSync on off, it would have been perfectly fine here. Volume here you have is nice. And controls, I like that. You can only see the controls. Definitely, you know, I would love a remapping. And I don't know if there's any gamepad support. It doesn't really tell me about that, but yeah. For a demo, it's really nice that you can see some of the controls, but we really wish that when we get the demos that we could get just like a baseline of like rebindable controls and stuff like that, some basic video options and basic audio options. It's not all there, but you can see it seems to be a quite easy game at the moment, you know, moving, crouching, open, and then a few weapons thing here, very easy. So not a lot of controls, more about just getting simple action going for now. You don't have any difficulty settings, anything like that. It takes quite a long time for like what seems like a basic game graphic and stuff. The loading is a little bit on the high side. We can see there's like lots of like chromatic aberrations and some color post-processing fields. I would really like to turn that one off. You also have like gun and the character like bobbing a little bit, weaving. Turning stuff like that off is something I would really like. So I'm running this, as you can see in my top left here, Intel ARC B580. This is a Unity game, and it is quite simple graphic here, but it is pretty heavy in 4040p. I like using like 60% of my GPU. And all my 6 cores on my CPU, the Ryzen 5600X, seems to be doing something, but I can maintain 120 frames per second locked. System memory is no problem, we are under 10 gigs, but a bit on the, you know, maybe medium size of system memory usage yet, with Windows, OBS and a web browser running. I'm gonna close my web browser because that can negatively impact frames or games sometimes. So there we are. OBS could also, but it hopefully it shouldn't, because you know the game isn't maxing my B580 here or anything like that. And my objective is being hidden away a little bit, but you are supposed to just find your way out of the building here. Right, let me just lower the volume a little bit, the S, or maybe I should have turned down the sound effects. Oh. There we go. Tabbing in and out of the game a little bit. Whoops. A little bit of a wonky. So yeah, yeah, basic AI here, but hey, nothing too crazy. One of the thing here is this is one of the Uni games that when you move and pan the mouse, it is stuttering and having problems. So I don't know if you can tell, but now it's smooth. If I move left, right, super smooth, 120 frames, perfect. Now let's use the mouse and you can start. It is stuttering. It is like the frame pacing is terrible, and this is like some Unity games are super smooth, and then there happens to be some games that just are really terrible frame pace. You can see it's kind of jarring here. Like this gives me kind of like a game that's unfortunately gonna give me headache with this bad frame pacing. I don't know if you can see this, but it's like really terrible. And I had this when I was running this just default. I was getting like 240 frames, something like that, 230, 220, 240 frames, and it was present. So I then went into the graphics control panel of Intel and I turned just VSync on, and I still had this problem. And now I'm trying, this is with no VSync and with low latency and like the boost on to get my GPU clock to stay as high as possible. But yeah, we're gonna try to ignore that, but that is a huge problem, the frame pacing. And I don't know, it is a Unity thing, and I don't know exactly why it's happening or...
Lesson learned, punk. Oh wait, you're already done.
Or what's going on. But some Unities, just when you're strafing and like moving mouse around, the frame pacing here really is bad. And then if you just move normally, like this is just me, no mouse, and this is smooth as butter. As soon as I start using the mouse, and especially mouse and moving around in like the horizontal space, the frame pacing just gets all terrible. But yeah, so I really have to highlight that, because games that has this bad frame pacing is games that I can't really play, because it's just gonna get me a headache. I know that Brutal Yarn is another FPS games that had problems, and they kinda, the last time I tried it, it was a lot improved, maybe even fixed. So it is possible to fix it. So But yeah, we have some simple graphic here, simple movement style. It might be a little bit feeling a little bit interesting that it's simple graphic, but it's still pretty demanding, not super demanding, but maybe just a slight interesting that it is a little bit maybe more demanding than you might first think. Oh, that guy teleported. That was a nice little glitch. Voice acting is fairly basic, but like if we ignore the frames problems, right? Movement and everything feels pretty good here. Input here feels pretty snappy and everything, and I don't mind a simple graphic or stuff like that. Definitely room for improvements, but the models here, nothing wrong per se for an indie game. And shooting feels pretty, it's pretty good. Like it's stable and nice. It is a very feeling like a linear game. And you can destroy those, that's nice. They should explode though. I'm guessing my HP is the bottom one.
I am the law in this city.
The taunting does nothing really for me, but hey, you might enjoy that. Not a lot of music going on, and go pretty quiet. You can only open very limited amount of doors. Nice look with the debris. Maybe almost a little bit kind of fogginess there happening. That can be a bit distracting. But yeah, one of the biggest thing that's like kind of stuck up here is that very few doors can be open, and you can't tell until you get this prompt. Would be nicer if like they were the doors that could be open. If it's a linear game, that's okay, but if you could highlight the doors that could be open in a more better way. Because like this looks like kind of brownish like this. They look kind of the same. This one can't be open and this one can. So yeah, I either make more of the bits, more interactive thing, even if it is like an empty room or something, more doors open, or maybe make the room, the doors that you can open stand out in a more way. Could be just make it easier to progress and get into the action that this game is going for. Definitely room for, animations to improve. But again, in the game, it's nothing too terrible. AI isn't too crazy, but if the shooting is fun, that's all right.
Shikiru you, motherfucker. Hey, yo.
They are sometimes a little bit fast at the pre-firing, I've noticed. If that is my HP at the bottom, it's also a little bit confusing to know exactly how much HP I have. I think I'm like one shot now. But I'm not certain. The way HP is being like shown, I'm not sure about. I think oh, wait a minute. No. Okay, so there is something in the middle there that has one bar. I'm not sure what that means, but to my bottom left, I think that is my HP. Let me just close down MSI Afterburner, because sometimes having just Afterburner up can also cause some FPS dips to happen. There we go. But it still is a frame pacing problem here, so. Yeah, I don't know what the middle bar is with like 1 white and 2 gray, but my HP should be my left one. No, I got hit there, but I didn't lose HP. I'm gonna... Okay, there I took a little bit of damage, 85. So, okay, the bottom left gotta be my HP. So 85 HP. Yeah, 100 HP, okay. So bottom left my HP, bottom right is my weapon and ammo HUD. Alright, works, okay. It is nice with all the smoke, but it also is a little bit distracting sometimes. Yeah, they are very good at pre-firing. But the shooting feels pretty good here. Definitely some nice little potential in this game. Shotgun ammo. Some for an indie game here and everything, like the graphic again, it definitely could have some tweaking. This doesn't seem to be any real great ambient occlusion or stuff going on here. There may be lightning could be improved, and again I wish we can turn off this kind of post-process chromatic aberration or color fringe things going on. Turn maybe on off bloom and stuff like that for the full release, but nothing too crazy. You know, if the price and everything is good for an indie game, it's pretty interesting shooting. You know, animations and stuff can definitely again be improved, but nothing too crazy. Maybe an option to tone down the fog, just a tiny smudge. I think that actually, you know, not too bad. The sound effects on the guns. Pretty satisfying, especially when you get that little headshot thing going. Nice little slow-mo happening here and there. Yeah, feels pretty interesting. Just action-wise. Again, it's a linear experience. But if just, you know, the frame pacing here was better for me, I could see myself, you know, depending on the price and everything, it's nothing bad here per se. If this is like a very maybe single developer or really small indie team here going, nothing too crazy. Yeah, that one was kind of a little bit cheesy pre-firing going there, but the AI definitely, there's, you know, there's definitely lots of room for improvements graphic-wise, with, you know, the frame pacing wise, the AI, and, you know, voice acting, but it has an interesting ground to build up on. And again, since this seems to be a very linear game, and I don't mind that, but again, maybe the doors that can be opened could stand out in a more way, color-wise or something, so you don't have to just try to hit doors that doesn't work. It's just a little bit of a time waste to go to a door that you just can't open. Oh, I didn't hear he sneaking up on me. You probably don't need really a crouch button here unless they are going to like incorporate jumping or some other mechanic. You could probably maybe just skip the crouch button, making this more of a streamlined experience. But it would be nice with a little bit more of interactive, maybe opening some stuff or more things that can be blown up. Yeah, it's a very tiny little crouch thing here, so I'm not sure we need it, but maybe jumping and stuff will be added in the game also. But I do think it feels pretty interesting. Just ooh, that we need. Just pure action-wise, it feels pretty satisfying. The shooting, the sound, the feel of the gun here, like the shotgun feels pretty meaty. The base pistols feels, you know, nice and punchy. And you have this that had, you know, very fitting audio and feel to it with a bit of a spray. Alright, interesting, a little bit different lighting choice here, but yeah. Again, there's definitely room for graphic improvements, but it's not, you know, like, not terrible for an indie game. And, you know, graphic isn't everything. If it is fun to play a game, that, you know, takes you a long way compared to just having a good-looking game. I guess I have full ammo or something. Oh, no, full HP. That's HP, okay. Yeah, fine. That's HP. Nice little meaty with the blood spatter and everything. It feels pretty damn interesting shooting-wise here. But all of the fog can be a little bit distracting in the action sometimes. Reloading feels nice and snappy. Might be some slight... it's pretty good, but it might be... I wonder if there is some kind of acceleration, something with the mouse. It feels good, but maybe there could be some improvement there. Oh, that's closed again. I just took an unnecessary detour because you can't open that door. But this door and this looks the same. Just make this stand out a little bit if you're gonna have it being streamlined, or make just the doors that you can go through, just have them be open. I don't know. I feel that would just help with keeping the action going. You definitely have a good feeling for like keeping the action going here. With everything feeling snappy, with the shooting, with the reloading, with the weapon swapping, with how they die, with how the enemies are dying here. It has a very good, like, you feel that you probably can go a lot more faster and crazier than I'm doing. It is an interesting sounding there when it kind of like the kind of after sound to the bullets. I'm not sure if that was 100% fitting. It almost felt like I was hitting like metal or something and not a brick. A minor thing that's not really like not that crazy, but yeah, this kind of like bouncing bullet sound effects. Sometimes it feels maybe a little bit out of place. I don't know, maybe nitpick picking. Maybe that could be tweaked or not. Or not. Ooh, new gun. I do hope it would be interesting if it if we are gonna keep this kind of simple, more action feel going. I hope we don't get like 10 plus different guns, that we only use like 4 guns that might be different depending on the level and stuff like that. I think that would be more fitting.
Hey, did you watch the new movie Hardo?
Why did he not die there? Nice animation here, like that. Hope we can tweak the crosshair, because sometimes the crosshair disappears within the background here with... I can't see my crosshair now. That we can tweak like the color or something like that. Then having this very small... You can't tweak anything except this also when you're in game. This needs... You need to be able to tweak more when you're in the game. But yeah, hopefully we can get... We get to tweak the crosshair a little bit. Make it a little bit more visible. Right, that's ammo. We need the ammo. It was an interesting graphic. Looks like a graphic anomaly or problem with the post-processing here. I don't know if you can tell it, but it looks a little bit weird line, horizontal line here, lightning. Could be the Intel ARC bugging out here, but it seems something with the lightning here is a little bit weird. With how it is being displayed here. Ooh, taking a lot of damage here. I need to get some HP back. Again, a little bit difficult to see through all of the fog sometimes.
You can't hide. There he is.
All right. Yeah, it is basic, the shooting and everything, but it's it works. It feels again. It feels, you know, fun. It definitely has a nice little ground to stand on here. Again, a little bit challenging to see through all of the smoke sometimes, the enemies. I'm sure that can be tweaked in some way or another. But the biggest issue is definitely if something can be done to fix the frame pacing. Because I've had this frame pacing happening on my NVIDIA GPU also, you know, not in this game, but in Unity games. So that is definitely like the biggest problem here for me. Well, see, just going around you know, and shooting and stuff, has a nice little good feel to it. Definitely an interesting little fun demo. Oh, 6 HP. Well, maybe I went a little bit too crazy, but yeah, I knew this was the end of the level, so I wanted to go a little bit crazy. So yeah, let's see. This is Cop Bastard demo. No, you know, official date when it's gonna be released, anything like that. If you don't have, like me, the problem with the frame pacing, you know, and you like this simpler, more like simpler looking in the FPS games, the shooting is it's basic here, but it packs a nice punch to it, and then, you know, if you get a like linear level, I don't mind it. Again, I just feel that you could, when it comes to like the level design, the only thing to me really that is that like the doors that we can go through, maybe make them open or just a different color or something. So I know this maybe later on, or the plan is to make you go into more rooms and stuff. But in this demo, at least with how linear it is, it just like, it feels a little bit waste of my time, like trying to find which door is the only door that I can open in an in a biggish area of the level. Like you start off in the apartment building there, and on is it like the 3rd floor, and there's only one door that you can open that takes you to the staircase, but there are multiple doors that you cannot enter, and it just would make it maybe like a little bit easier. Think of it like in oh my god, the Mirror's Edge, right? You always had this kind of high contrast door that you always knew, this door is my way forward, and I love that about that game. That game is more open and a different type altogether, but it was always very easy to know which door you could go through, right? And I want to have the same feeling here, so I can just be running and gunning, and I know that if the door isn't in a specific color or something, don't have to bother. I just can keep going, and then I see a door that might have, you know, oh, this is a door that I can open, this is the way forward, let's just go bullets flying to that door, if it makes sense. So, and you know, obviously there are, again, I hope that we can get some tuning to the post-processing filter, you know, with the polar fringe or chromatic aberration, stuff like that, to tweak, you know, analyzing anisotropic filtering and stuff more to tweak here. VSync and a frame rate limiter, that kind of, you know, VSync that works to toggle here, full screen toggle, those basic thing. And that, you know, I'm sure they're gonna add remapping and maybe gamepad support, but it would definitely be nice if you could remap. It's like, it's such a basic thing that's like been a thing since like the 90s, especially for FPS games, right? And PC games. But you know, I love it that we can see, at least in the demo, we can see the controls. There is actually one thing, you know, that you can't see here, but control button is actually also crouch. Like, you know, they just had that as a hard-coded thing. And the thing is, it can cause problems later on if you're not careful, I feel. If you forget that you have control hard-coded to crouch, and you know, you keep programming, adding rebinding, I don't know, maybe it can be... I feel it's just safer as soon as you start developing your demo or betas or internal, whatever. Try to add the basic menu things and build up on it as you build the game to kind of keep it in sync. I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong with this approach, but yeah, there are, you know, definitely improvements that can be done, but it is, again, it feels linear, it feels basic, and NPC is basic, but just the pure shooting, the feel of the gun is good, it's fun, and that is a good ground to stand on as an indie game here. And if it just gets more of it, and at a very affordable price, it can still be, you know, a well worth game to get. So try this one out yourself, see if you have the frame pacing issues that I have. Then you might, unfortunately, unless the developers, you know, find a fix for it, you might have to live with it or pass the game by. Again, Brutal Leon, another Unity game that started off having frame pacing issues and then kind of like got it fixed in one way or another to a much smoother experience. So it's, but yeah, it's a shame that it's just, I feel it should be Unity that fixes that problem and not, maybe not the developers. But again, I'm not a developer, so I don't know exactly in what part of the pipeline this problem lies. But yeah, demo version Cop Asset was interesting, was fun to try, and hopefully this demo will be up for you to try, and hopefully the game will progress into a nice full-fledged FPS game in the future. So that's gonna be it for this video. You can leave a like, a comment if you want to do that. Follow, check back to the channel if you don't want to miss me trying demos and video games and stuff related to gaming mostly. And yeah, if nothing else, again, thanks for watching. Have a great day and bye for this time.